So here we are in RTSA mode with the signal at 2.42 gigahertz. I'm going to go ahead and save a trace plus state file. So we'll call this, it'll have the trace plus state extension, but let's just put TS to make it obvious. Then I will also save it as a CSV. And I'll also make a recording. Chase, record, playback, new session, session data, and let's go ahead and save 20 traces. Record. Close session. I also want to save a regular spectrum analyzer trace just to show you some differences. Let's do a frequency span. Center 2.4 gig. Sweep continues on. Okay. And I do save. This is a Bluetooth signal, so that's why it's turning on and off. And I do save it. And this is from regular SA mode. Same. Now I come over to my data link. And this is the instrument 151.8 that I'm connected, and I say show files. And you can have the files on a USB stick. I'm just connected over LAN. And so this is the trace plus state. This is the first one we saved in RTSA, and it's, if I click it, it's going to say it's not supported because data link is not set up to support RTSA. But if I click on the CSV, if I had saved it as a CSV, it actually opens it up. There is my data trace that I saved. And it's not the density, it's the real-time trace. And you can add markers to this, you know, all the stuff you can do in data link. Add limit lines, auto-scale it, and let me auto-scale. There it is. So I can move the trace and so forth. If you come into FieldFox itself, and recall the trace plus state file. It's this first one. That's the RTSA one we saved. You also get the same trace. You get what we call the real-time spectrum, not the density spectrum. If I sweep here, let me turn it on. So what's actually saved is the real-time spectrum, not the density spectrum. So in RTSA, in data link, if you save it as a CSV, you can open it. I want to point out though, some parameters that usually come on with a state file, you can't directly see here, like you can't see the res bandwidth and so forth, though it's a little bit less critical in RTSA mode. You can see the frequency span and points and some of the critical information. I saved this other SA mode STA to kind of show you all the details you get when you double click an STA. Like you get the res bandwidth and video bandwidth. Actually, that's the only two. And in the CSV from data link, you can see those same parameters if you were interested. If you send that file, if you save the CSV, and then if you go open that, let's go to FieldFox, user data, and the file is this one. All the other details are saved in the header file of the CSV file. You know, your frequency, your res bandwidth, your attenuation, your preamp setting, and so forth. So even though in data link I couldn't directly open the STA, if I save the CSV, I essentially get the trace that I want to be able to work. Now in terms of recording, data link actually can play back RTSA files, because RTSA files can be played back in regular SA mode. So really data link can also play back the RTSA file. It's the real-time trace, it's not the density trace, but that's the same story in RTSA itself. Here if I come and I go to trace, record playback, recall session, and I open the session and I play it back, I'm getting the real-time trace. It's not the density trace. So data link is doing the same task. That's it.